Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So, plenty of things to get through in the show now. We were going to talk, of course, Onana, about people going out, about Hojlund, but let's get talking about the big story that has come out today, and that is the long expected, the long awaited decision on the future of Harry Maguire. So, Harry Maguire today has announced that he is no longer Manchester United captain. This has come out in the last hour or so, and it is big news. We have seen Harry Maguire, one of the main reasons why he wanted to stay at Manchester United was because he feels pride in being Manchester United captain, that he wants to remain the captain of Manchester United, and now that has been took away from him. Now he is no longer Manchester United captain. And look, there's a lot of people who have different thoughts on this. And look, I've put this in from Simon Stone down below. So this was an update that we managed to get this morning. So this did say, of course, Maguire is mindful of needing to play regular football next season, but he does feel very happy at Manchester United and he is proud to be the captain. That has changed. That is no longer the case. Harry Maguire has lost the Manchester United captaincy. He will not be the captain of United next season. So I'm asking you guys on the poll today, who should be Manchester United captain now? I put down 4 options. The main options, of course, Bruno Fernandes has to be considered the favourite for this position. He was pretty much captain throughout last season, and I do think this will continue into next season. Casemiro is in there, fantastic leader on the pitch. Rafael Varane, very experienced, won everything in the game, of course, and Marcus Rashford is down there as well. But let me know your thoughts on that poll, guys. Get your votes in. Of course, this is a big breaking and developing story, something that we probably weren't expecting today. Not too much ever seems to happen at Manchester United on a Sunday. Shrindi is asking any news on the takeover. Unfortunately, not at the minute. In terms of actual stuff coming from the ownership, the only thing we have is that apparently Erik Ten Hag has been giving a transfer budget by Manchester United's board, by the owners, of 170 million. They've managed to add to his transfer budget. So that's all we really have on that one. The big one, of course, it has to be Maguire, and that's going to be the big thing. This is what I would call another big decision for Erik Ten Hag. And I feel like Erik Ten Hag has got this right. He has got all the big calls right so far at Manchester United. Initially dropping Harry Maguire, letting Ronaldo go, letting De Gea go, and now he has stripped Harry Maguire of the captaincy. He is a man not afraid to make the big decisions, not afraid to make the big calls, and I think he's got this one absolutely right. Irfan says, what is the news about the transfer market? Yes, so this, of course, is coming in from various sources today. So Manchester United, the owners have decided that they will give him all the firepower that he needs. They were initially reluctant to sanction the £170 million that Erik Ten Hag wants to spend. So that's good news. That is brilliant news, because Manchester United, all summer long, we've heard, oh, we have to sell first. We need to sell before we can buy. But that's good for me. That is good for me, because that means that Manchester United's shortcomings and being useless at selling players, it's not going to hurt us. So Harry Maguire's statement, let's get through this. After discussions with the manager, today he has informed me that he is changing the captain. He has outlined his reasons to me, and whilst I'm personally extremely disappointed, I will continue to give my all for this shirt every time I wear it. So I wanted to say a massive thank you to Manchester United fans for their brilliant support whilst I've been wearing the armband. Since the day I took on the role 3.5 years ago, it's been a huge privilege and honour to lead Manchester United, one of the proudest moments of my career to date. It is the greatest honour in club football, and I've done everything I could possibly do to help Manchester United be successful on and off the field. I will always be grateful to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who first gave me the responsibility, and I wish whoever takes it on to have full success, and they have all of my support. So that's coming in from Harry Maguire. That's the statement on that. Now I can see you guys are in the comments. Let's see. Strindy is saying Maguire will join West Ham. If not, his salary should be cut by 50%. That's going to be a difficult one. Now Harry Maguire is valued by Manchester United at £50 million. This has been an ongoing thing, a long-running thing. United really overvaluing Harry Maguire. So I feel like nobody's going to pay that calibre of money for this guy. Plus his wages as well, £250,000 per week. But we do have a quick update coming in from Sky Sports on this one. So Harry Maguire is now considering all his options after being stripped of the Manchester United captaincy. Look, I have a lot of thoughts on Maguire. I don't think he's ever going to fit in at Manchester United. I just don't think in this Erik Ten Hag era, in this Erik Ten Hag style of play, Harry Maguire's going to work, in the same way Ronaldo didn't work, in the same way David De Gea didn't work. And I feel like this is the right call. And I feel like the best thing for Harry Maguire to do, in my opinion, will be to move on from Manchester United. That's what I think he has to do, because this is a guy now coming up to 30 years old. He wants to be in the England squad. He is not first choice at United. He is not second choice. He might not even be third choice, because Luke Shaw has played centre back instead of Harry Maguire as well. So this genuinely does feel like Harry Maguire being pushed towards the door, and he needs to take that step. He needs to realise where he is in his career, why he doesn't fit in at this team. And look, it's not that Maguire's a bad player. It's not that he's a horrendous footballer. The problem is with Harry Maguire, fundamentally, he does not fit this team because he's not good enough on the ball, he's too slow, and he cannot read the game properly. So, can he go to a different team and do this? Absolutely. And this West Ham deal is something that has been growing. So, let's see, who we got down here? Greg, it's Bruno for me. Always gives 100% every game. Leads by example, the way he plays. But I do feel in time, I'll be passed on to Martinez. No doubt Martinez will be a great captain in time. I feel like Lisandro Martinez could be a future Manchester United captain. I feel like he is the right guy. Maybe not just yet. Spectre is saying Bruno is only a good captain when we're winning. He was not exemplary in the 7-0 loss at Anfield. That's a brilliant point as well. But I do feel like it wasn't just Bruno on that day. It was a collective failure across Manchester United. Every player down tools was not good enough whatsoever from Manchester United on that day. So I feel like Bruno probably is the best one. Doodley is saying, how do you rate Maguire as a striker? Not good, man. Irfan is saying Harry Maguire out, and Gregory says Bruno deserves to be captain of Manchester United. Look, I feel like Bruno probably is going to be the guy. I feel like he will be getting the Manchester United captaincy. I just have a feeling that that's the way it's going. Look, across last season, for most of the matches, Bruno was the guy wearing the armband. He was the man in charge of Manchester United, the leader on the pitch. Even though Maguire wasn't playing, it was Bruno Fernandes who was the captain. And even whenever we won the Carabao Cup, it felt like a token gesture when Harry Maguire lifted the trophy with Bruno Fernandes, a trophy he had very, very little responsibility on in terms of on the pitch in actually winning. So I think this is the right call. I feel like this is the correct decision from Erik Ten Hag. And once again, he has made a big decision. Once again, I feel like he's made the big call and he's got it right. And we have to respect that. For a long time, we've wanted a manager to be decisive, to have the backbone, to have the sense of belief in his own ability, in his own judgment, to make these calls. And now we have it, and he's making them on a consistent basis, and he is absolutely right. Jason is saying, how didn't we go for Skriniar is beyond me, especially when we could have got him for free. I do think he wanted to go to PSG. I think that was always going to be on the card. So let's get talking transfers, and we're going to talk Andre Onana. So this is an ongoing deal that seems to have no end in sight. Honestly, guys, I thought 10 days ago, last Friday, whenever we had the big update saying that Onana was one step from being a Manchester United player, and we haven't got there yet, and it's been a very long time waiting for this deal to actually happen. So this is coming in from Matteo Barzaghi. He is saying Andre Onana will say goodbye to everyone at Inter Milan tomorrow before moving to Manchester United. So I don't know, guys. Look, this has been going on. I really want to move past the Andre Onana deal. There is no excitement in this deal anymore for me. And look, obviously this has happened for a multitude of reasons. One of the big things is Inter Milan, when Cold Turkey and Manchester United did not really talk to us for a period of weeks because they were focusing on a Romelu Lukaku deal. Scott says, I'm hoping only strikers will arrive soon. Yep, we have to hope for some strikers as well. We do have an update on that, of course, coming from Laurie Whitwell. We continue to be in talks for Atalanta's Rasmus Hojlund. Now, look, this is a good deal, in my opinion, because we've seen throughout the week, there was big talk of Manchester United looking at an £85 million transfer fee. That seems to be rubbish. That does not seem to be true whatsoever. Now, I don't doubt that Atalanta want a lot of money, and I do not doubt that Manchester United will overpay for Rasmus Hojlund, but I do think we're making the right decision, because Manchester United would have walked away if the deal was £85 million. There is no way Manchester United would have paid that much for Hojlund, because we've walked away from big transfers already this summer because we felt they were too expensive. So why would we then be in weeks upon weeks upon weeks of negotiations for a guy who would be out of our budget? It doesn't make sense. So we have to imagine, that there is going to be movement on the fee there as well. So guys, keep voting on that poll. 29 votes so far, and 83% of you guys are going for Bruno Fernandes, the clear, well, he's clearly the big favorite amongst you guys to be Manchester United captain. I think he's going to be the right guy. I just have this gut feeling that Bruno will really mature into the role, obviously coming into his best years now at 28 years old, of an experienced player, been there a while, so important on the pitch, and he is vocal. He will let his teammates know exactly what he thinks of them. He will get up in the faces of referees. Now, whether that's good, whether that's bad, in your opinion, Bruno definitely will fight for that shirt. He will fight for every decision for Manchester United. So, I'm feeling quite good on that. But getting back to this Andre Onana deal. So this looks to be something that finally we're getting towards the end of. So Laurie Whitwell today has said Manchester United have agreed personal terms with Andre Onana today. The fee with Inter Milan is also very close to the final resolution. Should the medical be completed in time, the plan is for Onana to fly on Wednesday to the America with the rest of the squad. So this clearly is a deal that's going towards the end of it, and that's clearly we are getting towards the end of this Andre Onana saga. And look, this hasn't been a saga of Manchester United's making for once. Let me just do that. For once, this hasn't been Manchester United's fault. And look, it's very easy to point the finger at Manchester United, very easily to go after the likes of Murdoch, go after Arnold, and I completely understand it. I completely get it, because these guys have let us down time and time and time again. But it actually does seem to be Inter Milan who have caused the hold-up in this deal. Joaquim is saying Bruno is the right choice. For sure, it will be him. Thank you very much for that one. I think it will be Bruno. I definitely think this is how we are going, and that's what's going to happen. We will be going for Bruno Fernandes, and whether we like that or not, I feel like he is the best candidate in that squad. He has tenure. He has been there for a while, of course. Bruno has really improve this team. If we can remember a pre-Bruno Manchester United team, like we had Andres Pereira in there in the number 10 position, we had McTominay, we had Fred, we weren't creating goals, we weren't scoring goals. Bruno came in and changed a lot of things, got us top 4 in that season, and ever since then he has been one of the most important players for Manchester United. When Bruno Fernandes plays, Manchester United play, and I feel like he is the right call on the pitch. Greg is saying it seems Hojlund is the choice. I'm really excited about it and love the way he plays, but he has to come in and lead the line. No doubt he will in time, but should we go for someone proven? I think that's a brilliant point, and I really have said this for a long time. The initial reports from the very start of the transfer window was Erik Ten Hag wanted 2 strikers. He wanted a young striker who would come in and lead the line for a long time, and he wanted an experienced striker to come in, really help the young player out in the short term, take a lot of the weight off his shoulders. And I think that's what we should be doing, because yes, Hojlund has all the potential in the world, but he will not be a guy who gets 40 goals next season, regardless of how good Manchester United are, regardless of the opportunities we make. So I think what we need to see from Manchester United is go and buy 2 strikers, bring somebody in who can take some of the weight off the shirt of Rasmus Hojlund and let him settle, let him grow, because he will be that guy. He will get to that level, but he's not quite there yet. And I do think Manchester United, I think that's the correct way to go. Obviously, if we want to go for a more experienced player, maybe mid-20s, who could come in and be in their prime, then you probably don't need to bring in an experienced striker, but it does seem Hojlund is the way to go for Manchester United. We have seen the talks, of course, as well about Mehdi Taremi, so maybe he could be the guy who comes in alongside. Who have we got down here? Aquila, Bruno for sure. Even Varane or Lissandro is better than Maguire. Jason is saying, we did see Varane with the armband against Leeds. That's a good point. It is a good point, but I feel like it would have been Bruno if he was in the squad for that match. Let me see. Scott says 2 strikers for a minimum of 20 goals each season is a must. I worry at some point Rashford gets injured and then we are in a world of trouble. And Innocent says Bruno and Varane are good all. Yeah. I feel like we're going to have vice captains as well. I feel like the way Erik Ten Hag's going to go with this will probably be Bruno Fernandes as captain, maybe Rashford, Martinez, Varane, vice captains, Casemiro, somebody like that. I feel like that's going to be the most obvious one. Aquila is saying what we need is 2 strikers for the interim who can still push Hojlund and who takes over. Yes, I think that's a good point. if there's a succession plan, if there's a line of succession in that number 9 jersey, I think that's the smartest deal. And look, we could bring in Hojlund, and maybe he is the only striker we have. I think we're going to be stuck with Anthony Martial next season, regardless of whether we want it, whether we don't want it. I feel like we're going to be stuck with him because two things. First and foremost, this guy is always injured. And secondly, Manchester United want a big fee, and he also is on big wages. So it's kind of like a club would have to pay Anthony Martial 150, 200,000 a week for a guy who will be injured constantly next season, regardless of where he plays. If it's in England, if it's in Spain, if it's in Italy, France, wherever, he will be injured, no doubt in my mind about it. So that's the real frustrating thing, is Manchester United don't really seem to have a way to move Anthony Martial on. So we might have to go with Hojlund and Martial next season as our strikers. Diddley is saying, is it true that Erik Ten Hag has got 170 million as a budget? Yes, that does seem to be coming in from several sources. The main one, of course, is Tom Hopkinson of the Daily Mirror and the Daily Mail have said the same story as well. Let me just check. I'm pretty sure I put that in earlier, but Manchester United's owners have told Ten Hag they will hand him all the firepower he needs. They were initially reluctant to sanction the 170 million that he wanted. So, look, I think that's nothing but a good thing. We said this already. Manchester United, we need to sell players, yes, but do we back United to raise 50, 60 million pounds in player sales? That's the question, and I don't know if I do. I really don't know if I back him to do that. Scott says Mason Greenwood, of course, decisions will be taken regarding Greenwood further down the line. Clearly there is an ongoing club investigation. I don't know what's going to happen on that. I really don't, but we will be here to react to it when a decision is made. Yusuf, good to see you. Thank you for joining in, man. Much appreciated. And yeah, guys, so overall, this budget, this increase of budget seems to be a really good thing for Manchester United. We will not be able to sell a lot of players for the money that we want to get in and really make a difference. When we're trying to sell Harry Maguire for £50 million, you know this is not a serious club. So if we're going to spend more money, I think that's a much better situation for Manchester United to be in. So I'm very, very happy on that, because that's going to make such a difference to what Erik Ten Hag can accomplish in this window. That's going to take us from signing Onana, Mount and Hojlund to getting Onana, Mount, Hojlund, maybe an Amrabat, maybe a Taremi on top of that, and that will round out the squad. That will make us a much better team all across the board, and that's a massive thing. Let me just read this out as well. So this is coming in from the same article. The Glazers were initially reluctant to sanction the £170 million Ten Hag would like for transfers this summer, but they know Manchester United's drop in value will come without serious investment, and they must not fall any further behind. So obviously it won't be Glazer money going in. This probably will be the good old Manchester United credit card coming out once again. It came out last season, of course, when we spent the budget, and then we went and got Casemiro and Antony. Looks like we're going to do something similar in this window. Greg says Taremi could be a brilliant short-term option. Brilliant finisher, gets a lot of assists, could bring in Hojlund, and when Hojlund is ready, 20 million seems a steal for him. Yeah, that's what I think as well. You know, Taremi scored 27 goals last season in all competitions. That is absolutely brilliant for a guy at 30 years old. So he still has the ability. I think he could come in and do a job for 1 or 2 seasons alongside Hojlund, and then Hojlund suddenly is coming into the prime of his career. He's really looking good in the Manchester United shirt, and then we move on and just solely have Rasmus Hojlund as the number 1 striker, and that's going to be a real plan of contingency. That's going to be a real Manchester United team. Then we need to have different options. It's really important that we're not overly reliant on just one player, because we've seen that last season. We've seen when Marcus Rashford scored a lot of goals in January, February and March. That was brilliant. Manchester United were flying, and then his goals dropped, and then Manchester United dropped, and we were not winning matches, and we really struggled, and that's why we found ourselves in a top 4 battle. That's why we found ourselves scratching and clawing, trying to finish in the top 4, because we only had one real source of goals last season. So that's something we really need to improve on. Ronnie is down there. Good to see you. In your opinion, who will be vice captain? So I'm going to go, of course, captain is going to be Bruno, in my opinion. I think vice captains will probably have 2. I'm going to go for Casemiro. I'm going to go for Marcus Rashford, maybe. I think that's what we're going to go. We could see Leach in there. That could be a good shout for Varane, of course, as well. Maybe Luke Shaw could be an option. So there's a lot of different things, and I think it's really, really good for Manchester United. And it's something we've missed for a long time, is having a lot of leaders in that dressing room who can come in and arguably lead the team and can captain the team. And that's nothing but a good thing for Erik Ten Hag. Joaquim is saying Casemiro would be a good captain as well, but he is just 1 year on the team. I would like to see a fellow countryman with the armband. Nice one. Yeah, look, I think that's a good. I think that is a good. It's a good observation. It's a good point that you have made there. It's very important that Manchester United get the right choice. And look, at the time, I feel like Maguire probably was the right choice because that was a young team and a lot of people were going. A lot of people didn't want to be there because of a toxic situation. And I guess Maguire kind of just fitted into that. Yeah, this guy's not going to make too much of a fuss. But United need to get this decision right. Completely agree. Scott says Shane Greenwood cannot sort out his relationship as it's messing up his career. Stupid, childish mentality. I would have dumped her after pulling me through the court. Set him up badly there. Look, I don't know. Look, obviously the charges were dropped by CPS. There's going to be more investigations. Things will probably come to light. I'm not in a position really to make any sort of comment on Mason Greenwood's personal life because I'm not Mason Greenwood, and that's kind of where I do sit with it. I think it's a case that we do get to see what's going to happen in the long term. We will see what happens when it happens, and it's just going to be one of those things. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think we're going to see what happens with this club investigation. I think it will take a while to get there, unfortunately. Manchester United never do anything in the fast way, so we're going to have to wait on this call. So I do think it's a good thing that Erik Ten Hag has took these steps, and it's not good for Maguire, make no mistake about it. And I'm sure this guy is disappointed, but he's made the right decision, and it is about time Manchester United had a manager from top to bottom who took control of the club, grabbed it by the scruff of the neck, and made it his own club. And that's what Erik Ten Hag is doing, and he's making these big calls, and he probably will make some sort of a call on this Greenwood thing. You would have to think this guy, top to bottom, has made some massive improvements at Manchester United. He really is a guy who cares, who wants that control, and he really has well and truly got Manchester United in the palm of his hand. So I'm backing the manager on this one. I think his calls have been absolutely right in all the big moments. Letting go of Ronaldo, letting go of De Gea, dropping Maguire. He's dropped Rashford this season. He dropped Garnacho from the pre-season squad because he felt he wasn't being professional enough. And now look at the season Garnacho had. So he definitely has my vote of confidence, and I'm going to back him in whatever decisions he makes in regards to this captaincy. So we're going to talk players going out because we have an update coming in here. So Tom Heaton. So at the moment, Tom Heaton is Manchester United's #1 goalkeeper because Dean Henderson is about to be sold. David De Gea has left, but Luton Town are looking and they are sniffing around Tom Heaton. So this could be a move we see in the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks, because Manchester United were about to sign Andre Onana. Look, everything is done. Romano has says 99.9% done. It's only waiting. It's a waiting game at this stage. There's last pieces that need to be agreed. There's medicals that need to be done. It will happen. So this is coming in from the reluctant Nico, who says Luton Town are hoping to get a green light for Manchester United for Tom Heaton. He is needed until United get a new goalkeeper. Signings could be allowed to go once they have them. So I think this makes sense. If we're bringing in Andre Onana to start, we're bringing in Zion Suzuki to sit on the bench, we already have Matej Kovar, I don't think we need Tom Heaton anymore. So I think this is a good move. It will clear the wage bill as well of players who will not play. So I think this is nothing but a good call. And I think it's smart United have held on to Tom Heaton until now. You know, we would have went into this pre-season without a first-team goalkeeper. And speaking of goalkeepers, we're going to get talking here. So this is Dean Henderson potentially leaving Manchester United. And this is going to be big because we need this budget. We need these sales. Really, really important stage of the transfer window. Look, there's 6 weeks left. Absolutely. That has to be in United's mind. But we need to get our affairs in order. We need to be moving quickly and sharply from deal to deal, sale to sale, purchase to purchase. That's what we have to be doing. So TalkSport are reporting Dean Henderson is expected to be sold to Nottingham Forest after Manchester United sealed the deal to sign Andre Onana. And look, this is something we have expected for a long time. ever since that interview last year with Talksport, Dean Henderson has been a player earmarked to leave Manchester United. It's nothing but the right thing to sell this guy. We can move him on £25 million, hopefully, and that's going to make a big difference. That could be the difference in Manchester United going without Sofyan Amrabat, or signing Sofyan Amrabat, or going with Mehdi Taremi and not getting Mehdi Taremi. So selling Henderson, bringing in someone to really help boost this squad, nothing but a good thing for Manchester United, nothing but a good call, and that's what we need to be seeing, more deals like this, which makes sense. And that's why I want to see United slash those price tags on the likes of Harry Maguire, because we're never going to get £50 million for Maguire, but what we can do is get 25, and then with 50 million between Henderson and Maguire, we can go out and really improve that team. And that's what United need to be doing, because we need more than just a starting 11 if we want to compete for the big honours. We need more than just 11 good players. We need more than even a bench. We need to have at least 15 to 16 top quality players at this football club. Then you have your rotation options. Then you have some young players coming through. And that's the kind of balance that you need to maintain. Manchester United, as we know, the squad depth, it's just not been there. All last season, we've seen this over and over again. Big matches, United having to turn to nobody on the bench. FA Cup final, Man City bring on Foden to replace Kevin De Bruyne. United, we bring on Wout Weghorst. That is the difference here. That is the levels we need to get to if we want to compete with these super teams. Kodax is saying, I miss captains like Keane and Vidic. Absolutely, real leaders on the pitch, and not just leaders on the pitch, leaders off the pitch, and leaders on the pitch who are of the highest quality as well. It isn't just a token thing. It isn't just it's the best of who's available. Those guys earned the Manchester United captaincy, and that's the most important thing. Marky is saying Ten Hag to get rid of the cockroach Maguire. I feel like it is. I feel like it's time for Maguire to go. I think all things considered, one of the big reasons he wanted to stay at Manchester United this whole time was he believed in the pride of being Manchester United captain, and now that's been took away from him. I think he has to go, and there is interest in Harry Maguire. So West Ham targeting Harry Maguire after the deal for Declan Rice was confirmed to Arsenal. That's coming in Mike McGrath. So I firmly believe that the interest is there from Harry Maguire at clubs where he would go and he would play. It makes all the sense in the world to sell this man, and once we sell him, we'll be a better team for it, because we can bring in somebody better, either another centre-back, another midfielder, or a striker, a full-back, somebody who will make a difference to this team. And there's a lot of players who I would say fit that sort of bill, where we can sell them for no real issue and improve the team by doing so. And one of those players we want to talk about is Alex Telles. So this is coming in from Manchester Evening News. So Manchester United, we want to sell Alex Telles. Al Nassr, the team which Cristiano Ronaldo plays for in the Saudi Pro League, have shown interest in Telles, but there is no rush for Manchester United. They do not feel the pressure to sell at the moment. And this is something I think is very interesting, because all summer long we have heard Alex Telles, Eric Bailly, players like that are redeemed as must sell. We can sell these guys without replacement, because we already have multiple left backs, multiple centre backs. I think that this is a deal United need to do, and do it quickly. We can sell Alex Telles, and Manchester United are hopeful of making back most of the £13 million we spent to get Alex Telles in the first place. So if we can move him on to Al Nassr, if we can move him on to a team that's going to make a bit of profit, a bit of money coming in, that's going to be vital to Manchester United. Brian is down there, good to see you, and he is saying the earlier we sell him, absolutely. What Game is saying, since the beginning, Ten Hag has made all of the decisions in the best interests of the team. I think we're going to improve much this season, although we are still far from the top. I completely agree. We are going in the right direction, but we still have a way to go yet. And I completely agree with that. I think other teams around us, we're seeing big rebuildings from the likes of Chelsea, from the likes of Liverpool, of course, whole new midfield coming in there. But I do think Arsenal, with these signings adding to their team, are probably ahead of us. I feel like Man City are well ahead of us still, but we have the man now making the right calls, making the big decisions, and we want to see where we can go with it. And that's what's going to excite me. Marky is saying David Moyes can have Maguire for free, and Scott says yes, the top teams have 2 top players in every positions as well, and let them go as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I don't think that's too much to ask for either. I do feel like two two top players in each position is completely attainable. If we have Onana and Suzuki, that's two good goalkeepers. We have Wan-Bissaka, we have the low at right back, two good fullbacks. We have, I guess, three good centre backs, but one of them in Varane can get injured quite often. So that's going to be a concern. We want to improve upon that. Left backs, Luke Shaw and Malacia, two good left backs. Maybe not Malacia at the level to replace Shaw in the team and not have a loss in impact, I guess, but he is still a good player. I think what United need is midfield reinforcements, and that's something I'm very, very passionate about, is Casemiro is a fantastic player, absolutely brilliant player on the pitch for Manchester United. And last season, he was such a difference maker compared to what we had with McTominay and Fred in there. A much better ball passer, a much better winning the ball back. His positioning, his commanding of the midfield was absolutely perfect. And he was such a big impact for United last season. But we have to be realistic here as well. And we have to look at Casemiro as what he is. He is a man the wrong side of 30. He is a guy who has played a lot of football last season, and towards the end of the season, there was no doubt in my mind we saw a drop in performance level from Casemiro, and that is concerning because I feel like we might run this guy into the ground. We did it with Nemanja Matic. Nemanja Matic at United, when he had a week's rest, was a brilliant centre defensive midfielder. Casemiro, much better than Matic, but he needs that rest. He needs to be able to be took out of the team for these smaller matches. We don't need to see Casemiro playing third round Carabao Cup matches against Leyton Orient. We don't need to see Casemiro playing a smaller Champions League tie against I don't even know, LASK or FC Midtjylland. We don't need that. We should be looking at keeping and protecting the important players who need that rest, the likes of Casemiro, the likes of Varane, in matches where we should be able to win without them. And with that, you will have rotation, and then you'll have freshness, and you will get better performances from them every single week. Who have we got down here? Marky is saying Amrabat will be a great addition to the midfield. I think so as well. I think really good defensive midfielder, can play further forward as well. His work rate is outstanding, and so is his passing ability as well. Really gets on the ball, makes a lot of passes, and it definitely helps Fiorentina. I think it would help Manchester United. Codex is saying, who do you think the club will buy for centre forward? Probably, I think we're going to go for Rasmus Hojlund. And Jinma says, bro said, look at Thiago Silva at the age of 40. Yeah, look, Thiago Silva, obviously that's a different example. But one thing I will say about Thiago Silva, doesn't play every week for Chelsea, and he is also a centre-back. It isn't the most leggy position. The thing why Varane needs more rest is because he's injury-prone. Centre-backs will not be up and down the pitch. If you're playing in the defensive midfield zone, you are going to be up and down that pitch. It's a lot of running work as well, and especially playing as a lone pivot, you need to have that kind of rest. And we don't need Casemiro to beat Burton Albion. We don't need Casemiro to beat FC Midtjylland, teams like that. We shouldn't need him, and he can rest, and that's just going to be better for Manchester United. Yusuf says, any news about Amrabat? Yes, so we do have news on Sofyan Amrabat. So this was a couple of days ago. So basically where we stand is he would like to come to one of three clubs. He's determined to play for Manchester United, Barcelona or Bayern Munich. He wants only the best. Those teams are sniffing around, so what United need to do is be early on this. United need to be proactive. Now, there is talk as well. Liverpool would be interested in signing Amrabat. So that is something else that United need to consider, is there's going to be competition. £25 million for a player of this quality. It's a steal. And there will be a lot of teams sniffing around there. So United need to be going after him as well. So it obviously sales dependent on this increasing budget dependent, but that's what we want to see. I think Amrabat could be a really, really top signing for Manchester United. Feeling Amrabat, I don't know, maybe we go in for somebody like a Romeo Lavia. That could be the option. Jimmo says, I don't think we're ever in for Kim Min-jae, and we're never Ten Hag's plan A. I think we were interested. I don't think it was advanced as Italian media made it out to be on a consistent basis, but I do think United would have liked him. Scott says two strikers will not sort out the full squad in one transfer window for more midfielders, maybe one more centre midfielder this or next window. Look, I think, I would agree with what you're saying. I think if I had to sign, we can count Onana as a done deal. I think we're going to get Hojlund, so that's going to be 3. I think then we can look for 5 signings overall. So bringing in another striker, bring in another midfielder, that's really going to cover you. So I think that's the most realistic. Scott says, I like the idea of a 20 to 25-year-old now with long-term contracts on the right money. Yeah, that makes sense. And the best thing is about that is that we can go out then, and if they're good, we can reward them with a better contract. Or if they're not, we have them on a wage that's befitting of their standard in the squad. So let me see, 110 votes on the captain's poll. So 75% of you guys are saying Bruno Fernandes. We also have 20% saying Casemiro, 4% going for Varane, and 2% going for Rashford. And we've had plenty of Lisandro Martinez shouts in the chat, so thank you for that one, guys. So I'm not sure who had asked for the update on Sofyan Amrabat, but Manchester United have a big interest in adding another holding midfielder to the squad, depending on Scott McTominay's future. So this is a player I think we should be selling, make no mistake about it. And look, I don't mind Scott McTominay. I don't think he's a bad player, but he's not a Manchester United player. Could he go to West Ham and be good? Yes. Could he go to an Aston Villa and be good? Absolutely. But I don't think he's an Erik Ten Hag type player. So Manchester United retain an interest in adding another holding midfielder to their squad, likely depending on Scott McTominay's future. Now, I hope even if we don't sell McTominay, maybe if we sell Fred, who does seem destined to leave Manchester United, we can see that done. We can see another midfielder brought in. So they like Romeo Lavia, and Amrabat is considered to be more likely. Obviously, half the price. Lavia, they want 50 million. For Amrabat, they want 25. So that probably, I think, is a realistic transfer. I think Manchester United spending another £25 million is a lot more likely than coming up with 50 million. Even if Lavia's got all the potential in the world, I do think that Amrabat might be the one we go for. Marky says squad depth killed our season at the end, so getting new players in imperative. Absolutely, I agree with you. And yeah, I mean, it definitely did kill the momentum. There was a time in and around February where Manchester United were close to the top of the league. We were only like 5 or 6 points off Man City. So could we have went on then if we had more of a squad? Maybe. I feel like it was early in the project, but definitely towards the end of the season, we looked leggy every single match, and Manchester United played a lot of matches last year, the most matches we've ever played in a single campaign. So what do we think we have to do to turn that around? Because we want to have lots of matches next season, and it's a good thing because that's showing that you're competing in all the cup competitions. You're going to play 38 league matches regardless, but if you're playing 20 matches in the cup, that means you're going far in all your competitions, and that's what I want to see of United. I want to see us moving and really having a lot of matches to play, so we need a big squad for that, and that's going to be absolutely imperative as well. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. Only takes a second. I can see we're up to 30 likes, so thank you for that. Duran is saying Casemiro has more leadership skills and has the right mentality. Yeah, look, I think Casemiro is definitely on that pitch, and make no mistake about it, a really, really important player for Manchester United. But I do feel like this, and I've always had this sort of belief that a real leader on the pitch, he probably doesn't need the captain's armband either to still be a leader. And I think Casemiro probably fits into that kind of category. Maybe he doesn't need it. If we give it to him, he will do great, make no mistake about it. But I do kind of feel like Manchester United will give this to Bruno Fernandes. I think he is the guy Erik Ten Hag trusts. I think he is the one Ten Hag would like to see, because we've seen it all last season. So that's most likely. A couple of people saying Bruno for captain. We've also seen vice captain shouts as well. People going after the likes of Varane, going after Casemiro. Maybe that's what we look at as well. So Andre Onana and his representatives accepted Manchester United's contract offer in a meeting that took place today. So that's done. Look, I mean, I just want this Onana stuff done. Absolutely. Torin is saying Bruno cracks under pressure. Look, I think he can be petulant. Yes, I do feel like he can be a player who can lose his cool, but a lot of Manchester United players can as well. And I feel like when we talk about that Anfield defeat, it wasn't solely down to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno gets a lot of the criticism because Gary Neville incorrectly said that Bruno had asked to be substituted without any real evidence, without ever elaborating further on it. And that definitely damaged his image in a lot of United fans' places. But I mean, Casemiro played that day as well. So did Varane. So I do feel like I feel like Bruno's going to be the guy. I just think that's the way we're going. Jarl is going, Onana done deal. Welcome to Manchester United. 5-year contract. Yep, looks like it. And Kodak says, seriously? Haven't seen that I'm not sure what that's in relation to. Zakaria Toran is saying as well, especially in big matches, Bruno lacks leadership. Look, I feel like United were good at home in those big matches, but there was a collective failure across the pitch in the away matches, especially against the top teams. In the top 9, I believe we didn't beat any of them away from home, so we need to improve upon that. And I don't think it's fair just to say it was Bruno Fernandes' fault. Look, could he have done better? Absolutely, but I think that's the way we're going to go for. And yes, you do need to show character, but I think Bruno will be the one that we go for. Rightly or wrongly, I feel like it's what Erik Ten Hag is going to go for. We've seen it most of last season when he wore the captain's armband, lifted the Carabao Cup as captain. That's probably going to be Bruno Fernandes as the United captain next season. That's the way I think we're going. Marky is saying the team has to get more points away from home. Our away record, especially against top teams, was very poor last season. A proper no-nonsense backup CDM will be great. Thank you for that, man. And yeah, look, I completely agree. And I think what I really like about Sofyan Amrabat is he can come into midfield as well. It doesn't have to be a number 6. So if we were to sign him, we could play him alongside Mason Mount and Casemiro. Put Bruno maybe ahead of them or on the right like we did last season against the big teams away from home. And that might be a way for United to really suffocate a match, really hold down the middle of the pitch very well. And I think that would make a big difference to us. Bruno will be captain. Varane will be assistant captain. Varane was captain in Oslo. Yes, that is correct. I still think it probably would have been Bruno if he was in the squad. Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment to make. But I feel like Varane might be a vice captain of some stage. But look, Ten Hag making the big calls. One thing I don't think anyone will deny or argue against is that he made the right decision in stripping Harry Maguire off that captaincy. I feel like that was the right call altogether. Let me see, Zakaria saying, I'm not saying that the lad's bad, but I hope that he gets it and grows in the role. Yeah, look, I think he has to grow in the role as well. I completely agree. I do think those times where he wasn't good enough last season, but I do think across the board he is one of the most important players at our football club. So I think it's going to be the right call. I think the biggest right decision was getting rid of Harry Maguire as captain. If he's not going to play, if he's not going to be there, I think it sends a message to him. And I feel like Maguire has been living somewhat of a delusion that he can come back to Manchester United and really stake a claim for the first team. I just don't think it's going to happen. So, look, this is coming in from Simon Stone. So, Maguire, this came in this morning. So, Maguire is mindful that he needs to play regular football next year before Euro 2024. However, he is said to be happy at Manchester United and proud of his status as captain. That all has changed now. And of course, as we know, came in from Sky Sports, Maguire is now considering all his options. So, I think maybe this is going to be the wake-up call that Harry Maguire needed. Maybe this is going to be the slap in the face that said, Harry, wake up and smell the coffee. You're not going to fit in here. It's not going to happen for you. And I think it's nothing but a good thing because, look, Maguire, I've nothing against the guy. I don't think he should have been captain. I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United, but I think he needs to be realistic about this. Zachariah says Bruno for captain. Joaquim is saying Onana will be the most important change this season. Absolutely. Going from David De Gea, a club legend, make no mistake about it, but he was not suited to that system whatsoever. To Andre Onana, it's going to be night and day. There will be such a difference, and that's why I'm so keen on getting Onana in as early as possible, because that is going to be so crucial to what Manchester United want to do on the pitch. Because with Onana, he will be on the edge of the penalty box. He will be sweeping up in and around the penalty box. His distribution, of course, United's starting position will be a lot higher up the pitch, at least 12 yards. So if you think we had the lowest defensive line last season in the Premier League, we're not going to see that this year. We will be much higher up the pitch, pressing the ball more, controlling possession. It will be a more Erik Ten Hag's team. Let's see. Jarl is down there saying, I believe West Ham has bid 40 million for Maguire. Zachariah says we need to rotate the youngsters into the first 11 more than last year. Yes, we do need to do that. Marky is saying as well, Crystal Palace and Burnley away from home, always tough. Those teams have always been bogey teams, and we have to settle the score with the Scousers. Absolutely, we do. Look, we need to go and beat Liverpool next season. It will be a massive thing for Manchester United. So let's get talking here as well, just quickly on the tour itself, because obviously we're going on tour very soon to America. One player not likely to go is Charlie McNeil. So obviously a very talented young striker, scored a lot of goals for the youth team, but he is expected to be going out on loan. Nothing but a good thing. Look, I've said this for a long time on the channel. I am passionate about getting these young players on loan and having them play first team football on a regular basis, because that's how you develop. You will only get so far playing against guys your own age. You need to step up. You need to take those step ups into first team football, playing against proper professionals who play every single week. And yes, you will get kicked. Yes, it will be physical, but it is the making or breaking of a lot of these players. And we seen it last year. Amad Diallo had a fantastic loan spell at Sunderland, really changed his career, and now he could be a Manchester United first teamer. Let's see Charlie McNeil do that. Let's see Facundo Pellistri do that. Let's see other players in the squad do that. Zakaria, we have a few lads inspiring, and the game is becoming younger. Yes, absolutely. We do have some really good young players in there. Colby Menu, Isaac Hansen Aaron, really top level young players. I feel like Matej Kovar could be a very good understudy to Andre Onana. I feel like, I don't know, maybe we could see some of Dan Gore as well. I'm impressed with him. Alvaro Fernandez, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of potential young players coming through. It will be exciting to see what happens. And look, there's other young players, maybe just on the cusp. Maybe in the next season or two, we will see as well the likes of Shell Lacey, Amir Ibrahimov as well. We might see some of. Hot Fuzz is down there. Good to see him, man. Thank you for joining in. Jarl is saying League One loan move, not the Championship. I'm starting to worry for McNeil. How old is he? 19 or 20? I think he is 18. Look, last year he had a League Two move. So I feel like it's probably the right step up if he goes League One, then maybe Championship at 19, and then we see where he goes. Very talented young player, scored a lot of goals, but he does need to, I think he needs to bulk up physically. I feel like this could help him become a more physically strong player. So nothing but a good thing. And look, if it's League One, if it's Championship, look, there's difference in quality, of course, but first team football is first team football. That's the big thing for me. So let me check as well. There was something else we wanted to have a look at. Yeah, so we have a nonsense rumor of the day, guys, one that I'm not going to believe, but I'm going to bring it up to you guys as well, because we like to do this. We like to look after we like to look after some of the more clickbaity stuff, because it's important that we look at it and know that it's not real. So look, this is not happening whatsoever. Manchester United are monitoring Leon Goretzka's situation. Even after signing Mason Mount, 2 to 3 top clubs are interested in the midfielder. That means that somebody is interested in Goretzka. That means Goretzka either wants to leave or he wants a new contract. The Manchester United name slapped on there to get a few more clicks, to get a bit more press attention. That's what all that's for. That's the only thing it's for. Bright Star says, has United signed Onana? Yes, we have signed Onana in the sense that personal terms are done. He's agreed a contract. The fee is done with Inter Milan, so there's a hold up somewhere. He needs to do a medical, of course. It's kind of like we're waiting for Romano at the here we go stage. That's kind of where we are. It's going to happen next couple of days. Helbert is down there. Bruno has the character. He can rebuke fellow teammates without holding any grudges. One of his attributes is he reads the game and is not selfish. Very good point. And a very important player, Bruno Fernandes, to our system. And that's why I think his position on the pitch will really help Manchester United. Look, plenty of teams have goalkeepers or strikers as a captain. I feel like the best position on the pitch for being around your teammates, being up and down, it's going to be midfield or it's going to be in the defense. That's where I feel like the real leaders and the real communication goes on. So a midfielder as captain, it makes all the sense in the world to me. And I think his style of football, the way he plays the game, very important to United. The way he manages to play through teams. He is, of course, a big creator in this team. So I think Bruno's important. I think Bruno will be a good captain for United. But let's just see how we go. Obviously, he's got some character flaws. He does have things in his game that maybe he needs to work on. But I think all things considered, I think it's the right guy. So one guy I would like to talk about as well, guys, I would like to talk about Kobbie Mainoo, because we spoke about him the other day after the Leeds United friendly, and I've been so impressed with this young man, and I've been so impressed with how he's been playing for United, and I want to see more of him. Hot Fuzz, if anyone in the world needs a player sold, say they're linked to United, and boom, player sold. It's so true, man, as well. Hot Fuzz, good to see you down there, man, as well. Dan, as well. Evening. Good evening to you, Dan. Thank you for joining in, man. Casemiro captain. I like that. I think Casemiro big leader on the pitch, massive player for Manchester United. But I do think it's probably going to be Bruno, but we might see Casemiro as like a backup, a vice captain, something like that. He doesn't really need the armband to be the big leader on the pitch. Pengalum says, says Bruno should be captain next. Ollie was smoking captain, but he made Maguire captain. Look, I feel like he's definitely had a big case of reality. I feel like Ollie has probably didn't have anyone else he could trust, and it was definitely a club decision as well. You know, world's most expensive defender, only 3 or 4 months into his contract at United, suddenly becoming captain. I feel like there was probably some politics involved in that. Zachariah says, I hope we sign a young centre back in case of injuries, especially with Varane. Mino needs to be first choice sub for Casemiro. Yeah, look, if we don't bring in Amrabat, we have Kobe Mino at home, and that's a kid who's going to go very far. And I do agree with a young centre back. That's what I would like to see. Bright Star saying, what is United doing about the striker situation? Are they signing anyone? Yes, we are going after Rasmus Hojlund, and despite a lot of talk during the week that Hojlund would be going for £85 million, it's never going to happen because United don't have that budget. We will not spend that much. We've walked away from Harry Kane for less money. We have walked away from Victor Osimhen as well, Kim Min-jae. You know, a lot of these players we have been priced out of. And yeah, whilst it's disappointing, I don't think that United will be paying £85 million for Rasmus Hojlund. That's either coming player side or Atalanta side or United side. It's coming from someone, but I don't believe it fundamentally. Hot Fuzz says 1.49k sub. Let's get across the 1.5k. Yeah, guys, I believe we're very close to it. So if anybody is new, please consider hitting that sub button. Would really appreciate it. And yeah, guys, Casemiro replacement for Kobe Mino. I feel like Mino might be the long-term successor at United. Is he naturally a number 6? Yeah, he's a deep-lying progressor. He is really good at that game. He might need to impress and improve more on his defensive instincts, but I do think he can do that job. Dan says, love João Felix on loan plus Hojlund. That could be a good move because that's going to give us 2 strikers, 2 attacking players. So that's not a bad idea, all things considered. Let me just double check this as well, guys. Yeah, so just on what Hot Fuzz was saying there, we only need 3 subs to hit 1.5k. So if anybody would like to support the channel, please consider hitting that sub button. Really helps me out and lets me bring loads more content to you guys. So let me just double check, see if anything else has been said on this Harry Maguire situation. Obviously ongoing. Looks like it might be the start of him going, maybe the start of him leaving Manchester United. I think that's going to be the right thing. So Jimmy Jackson, we actually do have an update. So Harry Maguire open to leaving Manchester United, but a salary increase he received as a result for United qualifying for the Champions League is making it more challenging to find a buyer. Colour me shocked. You play Harry Maguire 250k a week and you're going to struggle to sell him. That is absolutely no sense. Joaquim is saying as well, I hope Sancho keeps consistency in his game is a huge talent. Yeah, no doubting Jadon Sancho's talent, no doubting his ability on the pitch. Absolutely fantastic player. Now, does he fit United's system last year or the seasons before where he has looked to be a more counter-attacking player? No, he needs possession. He needs runners alongside him. He needs overlaps, and that's how he can be a better player. And in matches where we hold more possession, Sancho is usually played better. I do think he needs consistency. I would like to see some more end product, a bit more decisiveness in his game. Sometimes he could be accused of playing a little bit safe, and we want to see more attacking impetus from Jadon Sancho. But I'm not doubting the kid's talent. I'm not doubting the guy's ability because it is absolutely fantastic. And there's a reason why Manchester United spent so much money on him. Was he bought for a manager who knew how to use him? Maybe not. But I do think, all things considered, there's a lot still to come from Jadon Sancho. And I hope he finds that consistency. I hope he finds that temperament within himself to really go out and smash it up next season. Hot Fuzz is down there. Onana 5-year contract plus 1 according to Time Sport. Yes, does look like that is the contract details. As we know, personal terms were agreed. Contract looks to have been signed. Looks like Manchester United have finally gotten their man. So it's only took us 10 days to go from deal 99% done to 99.9% done. So well done, Manchester United. There's a comment in there from Sawson, but I can't actually translate it, so I'm not sure what it says. Brightstar says, is it true United are considering bringing in Felix on a loan deal? There has been talk about it. Now, look, Felix is He's wanted by Aston Villa. He has gone back to Atletico Madrid. He will not be coming to Chelsea, and he's lost his number 7 shirt. So you have to feel like there's going to be something on the cards for him to leave. I don't know if it's going to happen. Zakaria is saying as well, Mena is destined to be a top player, has the confidence, has the choice in his game, and reminds me so much of Tchouaméni. He's a brilliant player, honestly. If we want to talk about players he reminds me of, I think if you cast your mind back a couple of seasons ago, Moussa Dembele, who used to play for Tottenham Hotspur, I feel like Mena kind of fits into that profile very nicely. Now, I'm seeing the Paul Pogba links, Paul Pogba relations. I don't buy it. I don't think he is a Paul Pogba type player. He doesn't really have that level of technical brilliance, but he does have some real strong defensive attributes. A brilliant carrier of the ball. I love his body feints. I love the way he effortlessly lets the ball run across him and he turns quickly on it. And that's so devastating. And that's something United have needed for a long time, is having that sort of ball progressor in midfield who can pick the ball up and run with it, because didn't get it last season. Christian Eriksen did not have the legs to do that job for Manchester United last year, and that's why we wanted to sign Frankie de Jong, because he could have done it, but in the end we didn't. And look, all things considered, I think it's a really promising young player, and I would look forward to seeing his development, the development of Isaac Hansen-Aron, another fantastic player. If we want to go slightly younger as well, Shea Lacey, definitely going to be a top player. So much ability in his game, really reminds me of Phil Foden, the way he plays. I would also say Amir Ibrahimov as well, definitely butchering the kid's name, but he is so talented. And there's a lot of good young players coming through at United. Now, look, there always is. There's players who will come, there's players who will go, but let's hope Kobbie Mainoo is one of those kids who makes it at Manchester United. Would love to see it happening. I feel like this might be his breakout season. We've seen Garnacho last year. Let's see Mainoo this year, and I think he can make a big difference to United's team. In terms of this poll, 165 votes and 71% of you guys are going Bruno Fernandes, 21 are going for Casemiro, 4% each for Varane and for Rashford. So thank you very much for voting on that one, guys. I'm going to drop off and leave the stream here because I'm going to get something to eat now. So thanks for watching, guys. I will be live same time tomorrow, 7:30, just a normal time tomorrow. So if you guys want to tune in for that, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow. And yeah, let me do that.